Now the crew puts everything out on the table, especially all the good stuff that they couldn't get away with on the regular show. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, it's the after show where we gathered together to figure out what we were supposed to say during the broadcast, but forgot to. So now we have Michelle over in the corner, which it's kind of a good place for you there, Michelle.
Yeah, sometimes. Hi, Tom.
Sometimes. Hey there. And Jim is with us, Mr. Jim Kinsey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You tried to get rid of me, but I found the studio.
Well, I thought Michelle, you were supposed to lock the door.
He has a key. Who would have thought?
Oh, that's right, because it's his place. Oh, yeah, that's right. Darn. That's so unfortunate. Oh, my. Jeez. You guys been shooting?
A little bit.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Well, let me see. We did some shotgun training, some up-close shotgun training, trying out some different... I have never, in all of the years of being in this industry, shot a cruiser-type shotgun.
Oh, the one without the shoulder stock with just the pistol grip?
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, I shot it in a 20 gauge. Chose wisely.
That's better. That's good. Good.
And it was interesting because, of course, I have a 20 gauge. I have an Ithaca, and it has slug barrel abilities, and we have them without, and all different kinds of variations. But I've shot the rifled slug barrel with slugs through it and close 5, 10, 15, 20 yards, following it all the way out. Pretty impressive for self-defense.
Sure, it is.
And so trying out the cruiser, which of course is basically shooting off of the hip or using the hip as a guidance.
Yeah, you're not aiming. There's no way to aim. You're just kind of pointing and hoping.
Right. Was pretty interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect as far as recoil. Pleasantly surprised.
20 gauge is better. 12 gauges can be, especially a heavy load 12 gauge buckshot can really be a bear to shoot that way.
I would imagine, yeah. We just had some lighter shot loads that we were just messing around with. But kind of interesting because you really have to aim upwards a lot more than you would think instead of holding straight.
Because it's down at your waist, yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, that's what we've been playing with.
What was your takeaway? Do you think you would want one of those?
Where we were going with this is we know how they perform. People make an assumption, and we were coming up with different targets to prove the theory, that a shotgun is a great home defense tool because it scatters out and it just hits them with, with all these pellets. And that's not the case. We know that.
Right.
So we were coming up with some different targets, different calibers, different shotguns, that type of thing to show how they actually function and at what distances.
So you mean just being in the same zip code isn't close enough?
Well,
yeah, really. I mean, people say that. Oh, yeah, just with a shotgun, you don't even have to aim. Except that the pattern's roughly the size of your hand. So yeah, you do have to aim at close distances.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I am not a real fan of the cruiser stock design. I like to have a stock that goes on your shoulder. I think you can shoot more accurately and do quicker follow-up shots. And I don't think there's much difference in how long it is, especially if you have gotten some training in how to keep your muzzle down when you're moving through rooms, that kind of thing. So they look cool, and it's fun to grab them and make the shuck sound with the shotgun, But no, not my thing.
Yeah. I guess the interesting part is the way that you would shoot it is you would typically just hold it straight out, not even anticipating the fact that you would really have to wield it upwards at your target.
That might be a perfect application for a laser. Because you're just looking out there and it's not pointing where you think it is, so you just move the laser up and put it on the target and go to town.
Always thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to take a mystery call since we have no screener at the moment?
So you mean the phone's ringing? Just answer it. Let's see who's there.
Domino's Pizza.
Oh, got the wrong number. Sorry.
No, it's not. Don't hang up. It's Gun Talk. Don't go away.
Oh, you guys got me good.
He's messing with you. Who's this?
Oh, this is Ray.
Hey, Ray, where are you from?
I was about to hang up, too.
Probably going to wish you had.
Probably.
So, Ray, where are you from?
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida right now.
Okay. So you have reached the after show. So you're in the middle of the madness here. So what's up? What are you doing? You got a question, comment, or you just want to tell us how goofy we are?
I wanted to give a comment on the scenario from yesterday that I'm bald, but I was going to rip my hair out when I was talking to this law student.
That's an interesting image.
You do tell.
Right. I almost lifted my shirt and started tearing my chest. But
Okay, we didn't need that image, Ray. Come on.
Well, it's kind of scientific. No, yeah. So I was talking to her in Florida. There's let's just say there was a political circumstance I was talking about with her, and I would like to vote for it. It's medical marijuana. But the thing is like, that I think it's 11 on the 4473 that asks if, you're a habitual user or something like that. And if you get that card, you're kind of...
it's a problem.
You're just setting yourself up to lie. I've heard you talk about it, so I won't go too in-depth, but, she was like, that kind of makes sense, and I like guns and everything, but, and she said, she brought up the automatic rifle, quote unquote, thing, and I'm just like, oh gosh, here we go.
Hey Ray, who is she we're talking about?
I was at a tailgate, so it's just a stranger I was talking to.
Oh, okay, all right.
Somehow that came up, so I was just talk politics with strangers,
Sure, there you go.
So
always a good idea.
Lady, this young law student, she says, I just don't think people should have automatic rifles. And I was just like, okay, so do you know how hard it is to get one of those? Do you know how expensive it is? And I was like, have you ever heard of FOPA of 1986? And I asked her what year she was born in, and it was after, like, May of 86. So I was like, so something that happened before you were born, makes it really, really hard and really expensive to get a quote-unquote automatic rifle. So, I mean, like, do you still feel the same way? It's just like, she's like, I guess I don't know a lot about it. I think I might have reached her a little bit, but
of course,
there's a lot of people that feel that way.
You know that she wasn't actually talking about automatics.
That's right.
She was thinking of semi-automatics, but she's been told they're automatics. I mean, a lot of people are actually under the weird idea that the so-called assault weapons are machine guns and they're full automatic. So you kind of have to back way up and say, okay, what are you talking about when you're talking about automatics? And when they start telling you, you go, okay, or let's redefine terms. Because if you don't have your terms defined, you're just talking past each other. You can't really get anywhere. But let me circle back to the idea of the medical marijuana. That's a fascinating idea because here's what's going on. You have states that are passing it and legalizing medical marijuana. That's fine. I have no problem with that. The problem comes when the federal government says that's illegal. And the state says that's legal. But then you go to fill out your form when you buy a gun, and one of the questions asks you about that. If you answer it honestly and say you're using marijuana, you are prohibited from buying a gun. If you don't answer it honestly, you're committing a federal felony. You're pretty much shafted either way on the deal. And this is a gray area that we don't have figured out yet. We're in a transition. I think more and more states are going to pass this, and medical marijuana is going to become legal in most, if not all, states. And then the feds are going to have to figure out, okay, what do we do with these regulations on buying guns? But in the meantime, you could get yourself in a world of trouble with this.
And I don't think she understood that.
No, and a lot of people don't. There will be people who are partaking of and taking advantage of the law where it's legal by state law and not understanding that the feds say that is prohibitive for buying a gun. So that's one of those weird places there. So I don't know. Well, look, I applaud you for taking it on. I'm not sure that talking politics with a stranger at a tailgate event is the smartest thing, but it sounds like you survived it, so good for you.
Yep.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Man.
Well, now, if you're given, well, for example, Tom, our other engineer, he just underwent surgery, and one of the prescriptions they gave him was Percocet.
Right.
Totally legal. Mm-hmm. He can carry a gun.
No.
Not on that? Not any prescription drug?
Depends on the state, but many states have a list of drugs, prescription drugs, that if you are taking them, you are not allowed to carry. Your concealed carry permit is void while you are on that medicine. And a lot of concealed carry instructors don't tell people about that. It's kind of the fine print of the law. But for anybody who's listening, you may want to go dig deep to find out, because you could be charged, or at least they could say, look, your concealed carry permit was not valid while you were carrying, and then all the things that can come from that, could be rained down upon you. So
maybe that's why you left early today.
Well, and I think in all honesty, with the concealed carry instructors that are out there, there's so much information that has to be taught. Yep. They don't go law by law by law and explain that. They have to give you the guidelines to whatever your state is.
How long is your class you teach at your store?
It is now 8 hours.
And you can't cover it all in 8 hours, can you?
You cannot.
It was 13, wasn't it? 12 or 13?
Yeah, 12. Well, with 10 hours, with range time and blah.
Stuff, yeah.
But the interesting part about that is even though it might be legal in your state, and you may not be the driver, but if you are a passenger moving from state to state, that's the other side of that. It's not just your state now. What is the law? If I'm coming to see you, what's my law in Kentucky and what's my law in Tennessee? And
Excellent point.
But even the federal thing, if you think, hypothetically, it's fine in Ohio, as long as you get caught by a sheriff or a police officer or a state highway patrolman. But if it's a DEA officer, you're going to Club Fed.
Or if you have filled out your 4473 form when you're buying a gun, and either way you answered, if you answered, yes, I'm using marijuana, then that's not going to fly. You can't buy the gun.
Right.
And if you lie on it and say you're not, and they find out that you are, chances are you're not going to get this, but it does open you up for some prosecutor to come after you on a felony, a federal felony, which is a major, major deal. So it's a mess right now. It really is.
I hadn't even thought about that with the whole medicinal marijuana thing. I mean, people have their personal feelings, and that is what it is, but I've never even thought it through onto that 4473 form, and that's what we do every day.
Yeah, and there's a checkbox that says yes, no. There's no checkbox that says define habitual.
Is every meal, does that count? I don't know.
I had to have help getting out of the car. Does that count?
And look, I mean, people feel like however they feel about marijuana, but I think we're finding out that there are a ton of people who are really and truly are being helped by this. And yes, there are a lot of people who are recreational users. I'll tell you where I am on it. I don't care. I just don't care anymore. Anything we can do to take the crime aspect out of marijuana, because I think so much of our crime comes from that. The turf wars, all the rest of it, people spending time in jail for having less than a pocket full of a plant is insane. It just makes no sense anymore when we don't have room in the jails for the people who are out there shooting each other on a nightly basis.
Yeah, says the guy who just bought 1,000 shares of Frito-Lay.
Hey, you got to know how it all works there, baby.
Yeah, look at the big picture.
Go to munchies.com and you can get there. Hey, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we can nosh on this a little bit more. We'll be right back.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with 1 shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
Fans of Slip 2000 EWL gun lubricant will want to try EWL 30 this summer. The thicker EWL 30 sits up, migrates less, stays wetter longer, and will not dry out. Perfect for long-term storage. It also holds up better in hotter conditions while still providing the excellent high round count performance you have come to expect from the original EWL. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
After a long workday, you need a break when you get home. That's when it's trigger time. With quality adult air guns that are powerful, accurate, and quiet, and cost just pennies to shoot. We are Pyramid Air. We know air guns. Let our experts with more than 150 years of combined air gun experience help find the right air gun for you. Get your trigger time, anytime, for less. PyramidAir.com.
All right, we're back with you here. It's the after show, and, generally we can almost hold it together till the break, but not this time.
Nope.
Michelle, you know it's your job over there, right?
Yeah.
Ow! Good girl.
We're supposed to be moving to body checking with the whole hockey thing because, that's coming in season for
That's
Jim.
true.
Yeah.
Hockey season. For those who don't really understand what sports are, it's a great thing.
It's the only true sport. Just ask me.
Just ask you.
You get hurt, you got ice on it immediately.
I think it's
Here,
good.
ice that. Just throw him on the ground.
Seriously,
Yeah,
you
throw him
see
on
a
the
hockey player get hurt, they stitch him up and he's back in 2 minutes. Basketball player sprains his ankle and he's out for 6 weeks.
Right. It's iced.
Come on, man. Toughen up.
Oh, guys play hurt. It's simple as that. Well, Michelle, have you been working in the store much this week?
A couple of days a week this last week.
Yeah.
Just lots of
wondering-
other things going on. But
Are you hearing any of the political conversation taking place?
there is a lot of that's going on. And, of course, the people that we have that are coming in are, of course, afraid, not sure what to anticipate.
Right.
Looking at gun purchases and ignoring some of the other things that are just as critical. We're more than happy to sell you a gun. We're more than happy to educate you on everything that we can. Like the responsibility of storing it in your home, is huge. And so we try to advocate that with every sale.
Oh, sure.
But ammunition is the next big thing. It's like, okay, you've got part one done. If
Right.
you're truly afraid and you truly want to be prepared, part two's the ammo. It's a paperweight
Correct.
without ammo.
Yeah, that's right. You got to have ammo. And I was talking to somebody this past week, and he was talking about a problem with a gun. Or was it on the show, guys? And he had an AR, and he had 2 magazines, and one of them was messing up. I said, 2 magazines? Who has 2 magazines with an AR?
Right.
I mean, two dozen is a good starting place.
Right.
I mean, seriously, if you want to your point, Michelle, buying extra magazines probably isn't a bad idea. Not that I think that's going to really be much of an issue for a while, since there are like 47 trillion of them on the market now. And, they're just basically a box that holds ammo. Not a big deal. But still, I would be buying ammo and mags, too.
Right.
But, of course, the other part is to turn around and say, look, guys, I understand you're hedging your bets, but I would like for you to get involved and make sure you don't actually need that. So how about getting involved in the political process?
Well, when we say that, often, one of my lines is, I appreciate you coming in here and doing this, but we need to do our job and vote correctly so this isn't an issue ever again.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
well,
good. That's great.
okay, great. Go home and do your thinking and your researching. But, it's good that it's bringing people into the store and giving you an opportunity that you wouldn't have otherwise, but it's bad in the respect of why and how it's happening.
Right. No, exactly right. And I know you guys talk up, the safety aspect of it. One of the things that I'm sure you're getting some first-time people in who are saying, I'm going to buy a gun because I think I might not be able to. And then you're kind of having to start from scratch of, okay, how are you going to keep this gun secure in the home?
Right.
Let's have that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. What are your expectations? What kind of training do you ever have or have you had? Because a lot of these people, like you say, are beginners. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how it performs. They don't know what felt recoil is. So it really is time consuming. Like I said, it's good on the education side, but some people don't want that. They just want to come in. Oh, that one feels great. Okay.
Well, in your case, it's nice because you have a range right there.
Right.
If you can get them to actually commit to going in the range, you could do a little training with them.
Yes, you can. And a lot of people are open to that. Women more so sometimes than men, but that's completely changed. We've talked about that so much in the past, but we have so many more women coming into the store looking for themselves or for their family. And it is nice because I'm not the only female in our store. There's 3 of us that work the sales floor actively. And it's different. The approach is a little bit different. It's kind of softened on that aspect of it where they don't feel like, oh, I can't ask that question.
I know when I go into a gun store, I sure don't want to talk to a girl. Gee, Willikers.
I know, who knows anything? Oh, gosh.
What do you know about
dress
anything?
like a girl is what I do.
Yeah, we've seen that.
We have another mystery call.
Oh, gosh. All right, go ahead. Go for it, Jim.
Hello, welcome to Gun Talk After Show.
Good afternoon. Hey, I just went to Dick's Sporting Goods this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, I'm from Houston. They have opened 4 stores, 5 stores here in Houston at the grand opening weekend. Mm-hmm. And they're new to the market. They had the Ruger AR-556 on good special. I went to buy it.
Right.
I filled out all the paperwork, and this first time they have computer monitors set up, and you punch in your own information, and then it, prints it out, which I guess is quicker. But anyway, I spent almost 2 hours at the store waiting to get all this, and I got put on the delay list. Okay.
You happen to be talking to somebody that knows all about that. Michelle can help you with this.
Okay, wonderful, because I let the young lady and young man behind the counter know, because they said, well, it's going to be delayed, and you're not the only one, don't worry. I said, yeah, I know, it's just a random situation whatsoever. And I said, but if we don't hear nothing in 3 days, y'all are going to sell me the gun, correct? Oh, no. If we don't get they called it a proceed, you don't get to purchase. And I said, well, the way I understand the law is after 72 hours, whether they're backed up or they're too busy or they're on vacation, doesn't matter. That's time to sell me the gun.
Well, what that means is they can sell you the gun. It doesn't mean they have to sell you the gun.
Okay. So, but the law does allow it, correct?
The law does allow it, right, Michelle?
Yes, the law does allow it, but it is up to the individual salesperson, if they're not comfortable with the situation, to always put a can on it. And
company policy too.
I was going to say, in-store policies change. So if they're said, if they have said to their employees, if they get a delay and it's questionable to the government, it's questionable to us, we just don't want to be responsible for it.
And here's the other thing.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, you may not be aware of this, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I did not get your name when you called in. Who are you?
Yes, sir. This is Tom from Houston.
Okay, Tom. This is Tom on Gun Talk. When you go into a Dick's, understand you're walking into a store that has treated gun owners very badly. When the Newtown shooting occurred, they went in and took out all of their sporting rifles, the modern sporting rifles, the AR-15s, because they didn't want to be seen selling the guns that this crazy guy used to kill these kids, despite the fact that they're rarely used in murders, but they just decided, we're going to dump all of these. And at that point, they dumped all over all of us. I wouldn't buy a tube of chapstick at a Dick's store. So it's your call how you want to handle it. But, you could always just say, guys, that was a wonderful experience. I love you, but I'm going to go buy a gun somewhere else, which would be what I would do, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I went in there fully planning on purchasing 2 guns and some cases and everything, and I went ahead and what do you want to say, called in and told my credit card company to expect almost $2,000 charge.
Right.
And anyways, the 2 people at the counter that I was talking to, oh no sir, that's wrong. You got 30 days, and after 30 days we tear up the application, you got to fill out another one.
Well, that is partially true, because you have 30 days within the time frame of when it was filled out to the expiration of paperwork, which means you have 30 days to then go back to them and make that purchase. After that time, you would have to start the process all over again.
Right, right. But I was trying to educate them on the 3-day period that is referred to.
If it's their store policy, they don't care. They just know what they've been told to do by their manager.
They're just not going to do it. So it's up to you. Now, look, your choices are wait 3 days, and then if it clears, you're good. If they got to, if it doesn't, and they're not going to sell you the gun, just say, look, well, that's fine. Just charge back. If they've already charged it to your cards, charge it back. Put it on my credit card. I'm going to go somewhere else. So, Michelle, fill in the blanks here. What are his other options?
Well, I mean, that's essentially it. If their store policy is if you get a delay and no response is given, they're not going to sell the gun. You have no other option but to go somewhere else. If it's denied, that opens a different door.
That's a different deal.
Right. It opens up a different door to an appeal. But stores are never given a reason as to why or how long, and it may make no sense. You may have called in 10 of them without any problem, and then all of a sudden you get 4 that are an issue. And whether it's too many calls being made, they can't process. I don't know what
similar names.
Right. Profile, because they do work off of profiles. I mean, the questions that are given are height and weight and where do you live? And, I don't know the reasons.
Well, I'm sure you get customers too saying, what do you mean I got denied?
Right.
You're kind of helpless.
Well,
I bought a gun yesterday and it went through. Now it's being delayed. What's going on? So, yeah.
So I guess my recommendation is to go to a gun store that really is there to take care of you and give you customer service and cares about the industry versus caring about making a profit.
All right, let me put it a different way. If the gun store you go to also sells jock straps, you're in the wrong store.
Okay. Better you than me.
And that's new or used, right?
Oh.
He always just goes one step too far. Michelle, do your duty.
Yeah. Here we go. It's a double-decker there.
Thank you. May I have another, madam?
Send you a slapogram.
Well, now, something else we didn't cover. Now, I'm not defending Dick's by any means, but it may be something that's worth going to the store manager and say, hey, is this your policy, or are they just, you got rookie green employees that don't know?
That's a good point.
Or a regional manager or something say, hey, is this really your company policy? You guys got to be kidding.
Well, and stores have been called out like that lots of times. Independent store manager doesn't want you to conceal a firearm in their store, and you're like, hey, that's not even your store policy,
that's not
and the
the
sign
store policy.
goes down.
That's an individual deal, yeah. Mm-hmm. We've had Walmart managers who say, oh, you can't carry here. And you go, well, yeah, actually, if you check with Bentonville, you'll find out that they're okay with it. So, but yeah, it's not a bad idea to go find out, talk to the manager, say, is this really your store policy? If they delay, if they don't get anything back in 3 days, when it's legal for me to go ahead and get my gun, you're not going to sell it to me. Is that your policy? If it is, then personally, I would say, bye. Be out of there. Of course, once again, I would say I wouldn't go into a Dick's, but that's just my thing, because I still hold a grudge from when they decided to brand all of us who own AR rifles as the bad guys, because when they took them out of there and essentially said, well, those are bad guns. No, stupid. They're just semi-automatic guns like President Teddy Roosevelt used, 100 years ago.
Does that help you out, Tom?
Well, yeah, and I did want to add the rest of the story to it because I insisted to speak to the manager.
Oh.
And the store manager of the whole place, and this was the Mac Daddy store. They have a golf center, a regular clothing area, and then what they call field and stream area. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest store that they have in their system. And he came over, and I told him, I said, I'm trying to tell your employees here that after 3 days, I'm eligible to purchase this gun, and they're telling me, no, I'm wrong. And he looked right at those two employees and said, no, but that is the law. But Dick's policy is that we do not sell until, we get the proceed from the ATF.
Okay, so now we know.
Said, so how is it that y'all will have a company policy that contravenes federal law? Well, that's just the way we do it. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm the customer here, and I'm going to squawk and balk in social media anything I can.
And by golly, you have.
To him about the Tom Gresham talk show and what proceeded at Academy with them hiding all them nasty, ugly, mean-looking guns in the back store underneath a blue blanket in a dark corner.
Academy got educated by that. Tom, look, I've got to run. I appreciate you letting us know what happened there. It was fascinating. That's just exactly what I thought. That's the Dick's policy. Look, they will sell guns because they can make money on it. There's no commitment there. It's not a gun store. They got a gun section. Like I say, in my view, if you can buy spandex, swim noodles, and barbells at the same place, you're in the wrong place to buy a gun.
Yeah.
Amen.
Patronize your local gun store, because when Dick's gets tired of this, they will put that into volleyball or something else. They have no commitment to firearms or the shooting sports. A gun store will be there because it's a place where they have that commitment. So if you're not spending any money with your local gun store, don't expect them to be there when the other place,
Sure.
when Walmart takes all of those guns and then converts that to house paint or something.
Yeah. You know how, Tommy, you see, you go to a restaurant, whatever, has a no gun sign, so you fax them the receipts where you spent at their competitor? Mm-hmm. This would be a great example of doing that, as well as sending them a link to this podcast.
That's right.
Dear Dicks.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait, what did you just say?
Took care of it all.
What did you just say, Jim?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. That's right. And the name of your store, too. Okay.
Exactly. Better you than me.
Okay. That's
And
right.
Dick's Sporting Goods. Yeah.
And that's why we do this in the after show, because we get thrown off the air if we did this any other time.
Harder to get thrown off the web.
Nobody gets thrown off the web. Well, some should, but that's a whole different deal.
Well, cool.
All righty. Well, I am shopping for a revolver now. As I'm spending time out west, I'm going to be spending more time out there. So I need my mountain lion, bear, wolf, pterodactyl, brontosaurus gun. So you just never know what's going to come out.
44.
I know. You like the 44.
You can get a 500 Smith & Wesson.
I already have one of those.
Oh, well, okay.
You know what's nice about those is if you get lost at night in the woods, you fire it 3 times and you have set fire to the woods. And so it's all great.
Oh, no.
Because they built so much fire.
Rescue beacon. Get a 500 with a half-inch barrel, Tom. Modify it.
Yeah, that's what you want. So, no, those are beasts. They're fun to shoot, but, way too much to carry. I'm thinking it may be a medium frame 357, or as best I can get, something the lightest 44 I can get, which would be kind of fun to have.
They make
out
44
there.
airweights?
They do, actually. You can buy them used with a box of ammo that has 3 rounds fired. Because once you fire 3 rounds, you said, I don't ever want to pull that trigger again.
And a business card to a hand surgeon.
Yes, exactly. Ow. Yes, Smith & Wesson made a scandium.
Yeah.
Yes, remember that?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Worst idea ever.
But something tells me if you got a mountain lion attacking you, you're probably not going to worry about recoil a heck of a lot.
Probably not. Probably not. But you do want to go out and shoot it and have some fun with it. So there's that,
Mm-hmm.
Because then I know your answer. Well, then you get the heavy one and you get the light one, and you have both of them, and you can practice with the heavy one that doesn't kick so much.
So you don't need us. You can
I was
carry
going
this
to
whole
say,
thing.
you've got this all figured out in your head, Tom.
Wait, is this called self-enabling?
Yes, just did it again.
I am there. That's right. I am my own enabler. Oh, boy. Well, guys, keep your ears peeled. This is going to be a fascinating week. It is going to be insane. And the election cycle is going to change about every 12 hours.
Yeah, no doubt. And they got to come up with some stuff on Trump this week that he's a
Sure.
cocaine addict, rapist, something or other,
And he's unkind to dogs, too.
Yeah,
So, whatever. It's something out there. My heavenly days. Okay, well, we'll do this next week. Actually, you know what? Next week when we do the show, it'll be the last show before the election.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah. So, I wonder what we're talking about. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, guys. Michelle, Jim, I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Okay. I just say that. I don't really mean it at all. You know that. Okay.
Be safe, buddy.
And we're back.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Tell your friends about the Gun Talk After Show, a more informal setting featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim commenting on topics that are important to you. Available on iTunes and other podcatchers, and the Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android.